Let's shift gear in some respects now. 2020 has undoubtedly been a difficult year for many South Africans, thanks in part to the COVID-19 pandemic. While some people have lost their livelihoods, many have also lost their loved ones to the outbreak. Companies that were offering non-essential work were forced to shut down as they simply couldn't operate during the extended lockdown period. This resulted in many retrenchments, putting further strain on the country's already ailing economy. To help us understand how best we can cope with the situation, let's bring in Mtimkhulu, who's a wellness coordinator and yoga mediation instructor. Thanks very much for your time, Fancy, and welcome to the AM Report. It's an important conversation, but first I want to start here. We've heard people of prominence like the new Miss SA, right, Shudufadzo Busida, saying that she wants to use her reign to focus essentially on mental health issues. Are you, from your standpoint, getting a sense that this issue is getting a whole lot more salience than it used to in the past years?
Hi, Ayanda. Thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited to also just be a part of this and also touch on this issue that I'm so passionate about, mental health. In the past couple of months, we've seen a spike in mental health illnesses. We've all been affected somehow, especially this year. And for many people, it's something very, very new. It's always been there, but we've not really given it the attention that we've given it this year, especially. So I'm very happy that we're actually now focusing on this topic and unpacking it and really bringing it home to our people to really make it an in-house conversation. So I believe we're on the right route with it, and yeah, I'm also just excited to also share my bit on how I've been coping, because we are all affected.
Yeah.
Somehow.
And we'll speak to the tips and tricks in just a moment. But I still want to stay with the background if we can. You speak about bringing this conversation home, right? Do you feel that there's enough of the language to try to help sort of distill what we understand about mental health to people who aren't necessarily engaging with the topic through, languages like English?
So for many people, it's a very foreign topic. Even though we are experiencing some type of mental health illness, but it's still very, very foreign to many families. But I believe how we are tackling it this year, it will be a topic that it is freely discussed and mostly understood in our communities. We still have a long way to go when we talk about mental health, really, because we have mental health awareness months, but not much is really done, because you find that it's just a one-time thing once a year. But even the awareness are not enough to really teach our communities as to what is mental health illnesses, how to deal with it, what are the signs and symptoms of mental health illness, and what are the different types of mental illnesses, because there are so many. And I'm thinking that this year we might make it a topic that we can discuss with our families of all ages, because we all define it differently so far. But in terms of the language, we still have quite a long way to go, but I'm sure we'll definitely get there.
Yeah, hopefully the ongoing discussions will at least give an opportunity for the different terms to be translated, so to speak, into language that is accessible. Let's speak then about the power of the mind, right? Mental health can quite easily become a buzzword, but I mean, help us understand why it should be more than that.
So I'm a holistic health practitioner, and I look at a human being as a whole, and starting with the center of it all, which is the mind. So I describe the mind as the switchboard of the body, which we so neglect. It's one of the features of the body that overworks so much. And this operates on thoughts, and it also operates on external environment factors that are independently absorbed by by the mind. So this being a human switchboard, that carries our emotions, carries our thought experiences, and gives bodily functions such as movement, whether voluntary or involuntary. As I said, the mind does so much. Hence the phrase "power of the mind," because it overworks. It's an overworking human feature. So the mind being the head coordinator of the body. I always describe it like a vehicle. So a vehicle that is constantly in motion. So the body of the vehicle, the car, is representing the human body, and the parts that help the car to move represent the mind, which is the center, right? And for everything to function, one needs to really do something to it, feed it with things that actually help this vehicle to operate properly, to not just die on you on the road. So that includes many different things that we already some people already do, some people are aware of, but we are just not aware of how much they impact our mind and our bodies.
Absolutely. And hopefully, sorry to come in there, hopefully these type of conversations will help us get a bit closer to not only understanding the mind, but also understanding how best we can assist it to deal with the many complexities we have. But sadly, that's all the time we have. We're going to have to fold it there, at least for now. A conversation I'm hoping we'll be able to pick up at a later stage, especially around this time of the year where mental health issues typically take a whole lot more prominence and salience than they would at any other stage of the calendar year. That there is Mtimkhulu, who's a wellness coordinator and yoga and mediation instructor. Appreciate your time indeed.